I stood in the back of the hotel ballroom in Dallas, sweating in a rented suit, watching my girlfriend cry on stage as she accepted a national sales award. The crowd clapped like she just cured cancer. She sniffled into the mic, thanked her regional team, her VP, the building security guy, even the damn intern who refilled her Red Bulls during late nights. Everyone, except me. 7 days of hell I'd poured into her prep, mock presentations, data crunching, calming her down when she freaked out over wardrobe choices or presentation pacing. I'd backed out of leading a pitch that could have put my name on the map in national safety equipment just so I could be there for her. Canceled it. Gone. She said, this award could change everything, and I believed in her, believed in us. But standing there, invisible in the shadows, while she listed everyone but me, like I didn't even exist, something inside me just snapped. No anger, no yelling, just a clean, sharp crack right down the middle. Quick note, before we keep going, tell us which country you're watching from. I didn't wait for the applause to die down. I walked out before she even left the stage. No scene, no note, nothing. I didn't want the exit to be about her. It was about me. Outside, the Texas air felt like hot soup. My tie was already off. I flagged a cab and slid into the back. Home, the driver asked. I paused. Home was our loft in uptown Dallas, the place I'd helped renovate, the place I hadn't been alone in for almost 2 years. No, I said. Take me to Lockwood Industrial Park, corner of Gaston and 3rd. He looked at me in the mirror, middle of the night. Just drive. I leaned back and closed my eyes. I could still hear her voice up there on stage, confident, triumphant, like I was never even part of the story. I reached into my coat pocket, pulled out the ID badge from my workshop, and felt the edge of the plastic dig into my palm. That sharp edge felt better than anything else that night. The cab pulled up to the gate just past 2 in the morning. Lockwood Industrial Park was dead quiet. No lights, no noise except the occasional rattle of metal siding in the wind. I swiped my badge and stepped into my workshop. The air inside was sharp with the smell of steel and machine grease. Familiar, clean. I flicked on the overhead lights and there it was, center table, under the halogens, the prototype I'd been working on for almost 4 years, my ladder. Compact, lightweight, folded down smaller than a gym bag, but it could deploy in seconds, anchor to almost any frame, and hold the weight of 3 adults. Fire escapes were outdated. My design could save people stuck in high-rises, motels, schools, hell, even tree houses if it came to that. I ran my hand along the carbon frame, checking for flex, then stepped back and gave it a quick once-over. It was ready. It had been ready. I'd just been waiting around for someone to believe in it as much as I did. I powered up my laptop, fingers stiff from the cold. Notifications popped like fireworks. My inbox was a mess, mostly newsletters, meeting reminders, a few passive-aggressive check-ins from my old project lead. Then I saw the subject line, Evacuation Ladder Design, French Publication Inquiry. I clicked. The message was from a guy named Henri Lebeau, founder of a safety tech firm based in Marseille. He'd seen my prototype mentioned in an industry journal 2 months back. Your design caught our attention. We'd like to discuss a potential collaboration. Are you available for a video call next week? Next week. Hell no, I typed fast. Henry, I'm available to fly out tomorrow if you're still interested. No need to wait, let me know. Hit send. I didn't even blink before opening a new tab and booking the first one-way ticket I could find. Departed from DFW at 5:45 a.m. One layover in Munich, then straight to Marseille. I shut the laptop and grabbed my backup drive from the locked drawer. That thing had everything. Every version, sketch, test result, and patent filing from the past 4 years. Tossed it in my bag with 2 changes of clothes, my passport, and a small toolkit. No goodbyes, no explanation notes, no tears. My phone buzzed on the workbench. Cassie's name lit up on the screen, text after text, probably wondering where I was, if I was okay, if I was coming home. I pressed the side button and held it, power off. I sat on the edge of the table, bag on my lap, watching the seconds tick by on the wall clock. When the hands hit 4, I stood up, shut down the lights, and locked the place behind me. The air outside felt different, cooler, sharper, like it belonged to someone else now. I called another cab and headed straight to the airport. I didn't look back once. While I was halfway over the Atlantic, Cassie was at the after party, riding the high like it was oxygen. Everyone wanted a piece of her. Her new VP grinned like he'd bet on the right horse. Some junior reps begged for selfies. She laughed, toasted, let herself soak it all in. She didn't check her phone once. It wasn't until the next morning, when she stumbled through the door, heels in one hand and takeout in the other, that something felt off. The loft was quiet. My shoes weren't by the door. My laptop wasn't on the desk. The bed hadn't been touched. She called out once, maybe half-hearted, but there was no answer. She checked her phone. Nothing from me. Her fingers started flying across the screen. First a text, then another, then a call, straight to voicemail. She called my assistant next. Haley Stone, cold and efficient. Never liked Cassie. Hey, I'm trying to reach... He's unavailable, Haley cut in. Cassie paused. Okay, well, is he okay? He withdrew from the product pitch yesterday. Fully, signed over the project. Effective immediately. What? Why? You'd have to ask him, Haley said. Then, after a second, good luck finding him. Click. That's when the panic hit. She called my parents, who hadn't heard from me. She tried my best friend Caleb. He had no clue either. Everyone gave her the same tight-lipped answer. Haven't talked to him. She opened my office drawers, rummaged through folders, checked the closet. My passport was gone. My backup drive was missing. The drawer I always locked had been emptied out clean. Around 2 that afternoon, she found the boarding pass. It was crumpled at the bottom of the trash can, stuffed under a banana peel and some takeout napkins. The same boarding pass I was supposed to use for the National Safety Conference in Atlanta. The one I'd skipped so I could prep her for her award. She held it like it might burn her fingers. Then she walked into the living room, sat on the edge of the couch, and stared at the wall. The place still smelled like my cologne. Her phone was buzzing beside her. More congrats, more invites, more noise. But she didn't touch it. She didn't even move. Her eyes landed on the empty spot by the door where I kept my old steel-toe boots. I'd worn those the day I first showed her the prototype. She used to joke they made me look like an over-prepared janitor. Now that space looked like a grave. She sat there for a long time. Maybe an hour. No music, no background TV. Just her and the hum of the fridge. Then she said it. Quiet. Barely a whisper. What have I done? And she finally started to cry. I stepped off the plane in Marseille with stiff legs and no sleep. The terminal smelled like espresso and floor polish. My carry-on was heavy on one side from the backup drive, but I didn't care. I'd never been to France, didn't know the language beyond high school basics, didn't even know if this guy Henri was legit. But I knew one thing, he wasn't Cassie, and he didn't need me to sit in the back of a damn ballroom to matter. A man in his late 50s held up a sign with my name, tailored jacket, wireframe glasses, a little goatee. Ethan, he asked. I nodded. Henri Lebeau, he said, shaking my hand with both of his. It's a pleasure. I hope you're not too tired. We have the afternoon set up for a full walkthrough. I'm good, I said. Let's go. We drove straight to the facility, modern, all glass and steel, tucked into the hills outside the city. Inside, his engineers were already waiting. They handed me coffee, pulled up a whiteboard, and let me plug in my drive. I walked them through everything: anchor design, weight limits, deployment time, safety testing. I showed them the core feature, a ladder system compact enough to live in a broom closet, but strong enough to carry 3 grown adults off a burning balcony in 30 seconds flat. They didn't nod politely. They asked smart questions, challenged specs, ran stress simulations on the spot. By the time we broke for dinner, one of them, Sophie I think, had already started sketching possible casing designs for mass production. Henri took me to a small bistro tucked in an alley I wouldn't have found in a million years. We sat on the patio with wine and grilled fish. Neither of us was big on small talk. After the plates were cleared, he leaned back and said, I want to offer you something real. We'll fund the build-out, cover relocation, and give you full design control. You'll lead the team. No board politics, no middlemen, just the work. I stared at him, fork still in hand. You serious? Completely. And you're not worried I'll disappear halfway through? He smiled. No, you flew here with 48 hours notice. I think you're done disappearing. I nodded once. Then I'm in. Back at the hotel, I sat on the edge of the bed and opened my laptop. I drafted one email to my old team in Texas, brief and clear. Subject, opportunity in Marseille. Message, I've accepted a lead design role overseas. Anyone interested in relocating, I want you with me. No pressure, let me know. I hit send. Then I made the mistake of checking my phone. 43 unread texts, 6 missed calls, 3 voicemails, all from Cassie. The last message read, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're safe. Please just tell me you're okay. I stared at it for a long second, thumb hovering. My chest felt tight, but not from sadness, from noise, like she was still pulling at me from 10 time zones away. I typed out one reply. I'm fine. I've accepted a role in Marseille. I'll handle moving my things. Sent. Then I powered off my phone and set it face down on the desk. I didn't flinch this time. Back in Dallas, Cassie walked into her first Monday as VP, like she was on autopilot. New title, new office, even a welcome basket waiting on her desk. She smiled at the assistant who dropped it off, said, thank you, like nothing had changed. But everything had. She hadn't slept, barely ate. Every time her phone buzzed, she jumped. She kept thinking I'd respond again. Something longer, something personal. But I didn't. She powered through her first meeting. Regional numbers, campaign rollouts, Q3 targets. She said all the right things. Everyone nodded. But when she tried to pull up a data file, her hand trembled just enough for someone to notice. She passed it off like nothing. On day 2, it got worse. She was supposed to send a revenue forecast to a major investor. Easy task, normally. But instead of the clean version, she attached a draft riddled with errors, half complete, with snarky internal comments still in the margins. The investor didn't reply. They forwarded it to her boss. By Thursday, she was triple-checking her own calendar invites, snapping at the junior staff, and reheating the same cup of coffee until it boiled. Her team tiptoed around her. Even her work friends started giving her space. That afternoon, her boss called her in. Jake, mid-40s, clean-shaven, polished to the point of plastic. Close the door, he said. She did. He looked at her like he was about to deliver bad news, but wanted to sound like a mentor doing her a favor. Cassie, you've had a huge week. Big transition. Everyone's rooting for you. She nodded. That said, we've noticed some slip-ups. Minor, but concerning. I've got it under control, she said too fast. Do you? Her jaw tightened. Look, I know I made a few mistakes, but I'm adapting. It's a new role. It's pressure. I'll be fine. Jake leaned back, crossed his arms. You're not fine. And that's okay. But if something's going on, I need to know. She stared at the edge of his desk, didn't say a word. He let the silence stretch. Then, softly, Cassie, if this isn't the right time, we can hit pause. Take a personal leave. Regroup. She didn't fight it. Not because she agreed, because she didn't have the strength left to pretend. The next morning, she submitted the paperwork. Family emergency was all it said. She didn't tell anyone else, not her coworkers, not her friends, not even her sister. She just ghosted. That night, she opened her laptop and booked a one-way flight to Marseille. No return, no baggage insurance, no seat upgrade, just the fastest way out of the country. She stared at the confirmation screen for a long time, not crying, not panicking, just blank. She closed the lid and sat back on the bed they used to share. Her reflection stared back at her from the dark window, messy bun, pale face, sweatshirt from a sales retreat 3 years ago. She'd spent months climbing a ladder she thought would make her feel powerful. And now, here she was, taking a leave of absence with nothing but a name and a country to chase. But she still bought that ticket. And the next day, she boarded that flight. The receptionist buzzed my office just after lunch. Ethan, there's a woman here asking for you. Says it's personal. I already knew who it was before she said anything else. I'll come down. I took the stairs slow. My chest was tight, but not from nerves. I wasn't angry anymore. I just felt done. She was standing in the lobby, hands in her jacket pockets, makeup free, hair tied back, eyes searching everywhere but mine. Cassie. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I didn't hug her. I didn't ask how the flight was. Let's talk, I said, pointing across the street. Cafe's quiet this time of day. She nodded. We walked in silence. She stayed a step behind me, like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to walk next to me anymore. At the cafe, we grabbed a table near the window. She sat down and folded her hands tight like she was bracing for impact. I didn't touch my coffee. She spoke first. "Why'd you leave like that?" Straight to it. "I didn't leave." I removed myself. "Same thing?" "No," I said. "Leaving would have meant I wanted you to chase me." I didn't. Her jaw clenched. "You just vanished. You made it clear who mattered to you that night, and I wasn't on the list." Her face dropped. "That's not true." I leaned forward. "You stood on stage, accepted the biggest award of your career, and thanked your team, your boss, even the cleaning staff. You didn't say my name once, not one word." "I didn't mean to. I'm not talking about intent. I'm talking about truth." She swallowed hard. "I didn't know that meant so much to you." "That's the problem. You should have." She blinked fast, but I didn't let up. "I spent a week helping you rehearse, rewrite slides, keep your head straight. I passed on the biggest opportunity of my life because you said you needed me." "I know," she whispered. "No, you don't," I said, "because you stood up there and erased me. Publicly, completely. I wasn't your partner that night. I was furniture." Her eyes filled, but I didn't soften. "Love without acknowledgement isn't love, Cassie. It's convenience. It's using someone to keep yourself standing." She looked away. Her voice cracked when she asked, "So what was I to you?" "You were everything," I said, flat, "until I realized I wasn't anything to you." We sat there in the silence that followed. Outside, people walked past like this was just another Thursday afternoon. Cassie wiped under her eyes with her sleeve. "I thought you broke up with me." "No, this wasn't a breakup. This was a revelation." She stared at me, like she finally saw it for what it was. Like all the noise and ego and momentum she'd been riding had finally collapsed into one clear picture. I stood up. She didn't follow. She didn't follow me out of that cafe, and I didn't look back to see if she was still sitting there. The next time I heard from her was 2 weeks later. Subject, update message. I left the VP job, started at a smaller firm, local stuff, school programs, fire safety awareness. It's quieter, feels better. No greeting, no apology, no drama, just that. I read it twice, then replied, "Glad you found something real." That was it. The emails kept coming, about every other week, short, focused, fewer feelings, more facts, updates on campaigns they were building, meetings with school boards, ideas for interactive kits. She sent photos once, kids trying out old escape ladders during a safety drill. I didn't know how she found the balance, but it was clear something had shifted. Her tone stopped sounding like she was trying to prove something. She wasn't reporting to me. She wasn't performing, just checking in, like two people who had shared something important once and weren't pretending it didn't happen. I kept my replies brief, supportive, not encouraging. I didn't want to send mixed signals. Then, one night, her message landed around midnight. Subject, just thinking. Message. My firm has a small office in Nice. There's an open role there that lines up with what I'm doing now. I'm considering it. Not to chase you, I'm doing it for me. I just like who I am lately. And I think there's more of that waiting over there. I stared at the screen for a while. I didn't roll my eyes. I didn't tense up. I believed her. That version of her, the one writing from a grounded place, not from panic or ego, was someone I hadn't met before. And she wasn't asking for anything, just putting the truth out there. I typed back, "If you take it, I hope it gives you what you're looking for. Nice is a good city. No emojis, no flirting, no invitation." She replied an hour later, "Thanks. I think I'm going to do it." 2 weeks after her email about Nice, I got word that my ladder design had been shortlisted for a Global Safety Innovation Award. Henry called me into his office, all smiles. "They're flying the finalists to Paris," he said, clapping me on the back. "You'll present the design yourself." "You get a +1, by the way." I nodded, barely reacted. But that night, I sat in front of my computer, stared at a blank message for 15 minutes, then typed, "Subject, Paris, message. My design's up for a global award. Gala's in Paris next month. I can bring a guest. Would you like to come?" Sent. No build-up, no expectations. Just a door, cracked slightly open. 3 days later, she replied, "I'd like that. I'll see you there." The night of the gala, she showed up outside the venue in a simple navy dress. No sparkle, no dramatic makeup. Hair tied back, silver earrings, a thin black clutch, understated, elegant. I met her at the front steps. "Hey," I said. "Hey," she said back, and gave a small nod like we were colleagues meeting for dinner, not exes who hadn't seen each other since everything cracked. Inside, the event was a flood of accents, tuxedos, and champagne flutes. Henry stayed close for the first hour, introducing me around. I introduced Cassie the same way every time. "This is Cassie." No titles, no explanations, just her name. She fit in like she belonged. She asked the right questions, laughed when she should, didn't insert herself into every conversation. She listened, took it all in. Even when people asked her if she was in the industry, she just said, "Not directly. I support local safety initiatives back in Texas." No flex, no need to prove herself. At one point, Henri leaned in and whispered, "She's sharp and grounded." "Good company," I nodded. "Yeah, she is." We sat next to each other during the awards presentation, not touching, not even brushing arms. When they called my name, she gave me a small smile and mouthed, "You've got this." I walked on stage, accepted the plaque, gave a short, clean speech, and walked back to my seat. After the ceremony, I stepped out onto the balcony for air. She joined me a few minutes later, quiet. I looked over at her. "Thanks for coming." She looked out over the lights of Paris. "Thanks for asking." Neither of us tried to fill the silence that followed. We didn't need to. After the gala, we didn't fall into anything. We met for coffee once the following week, a small place near the water. We talked about logistics, her move to Nice, my team's expansion in Marseille, the price of gas in both cities. No flirting, no old wounds, just two people who knew each other's history and weren't trying to rewrite it. A couple weeks later, she texted me, "You still have time for a coffee? I'd like to show you something." I said yes. She brought a folder of mock-ups from her new firm's latest campaign, simple, clear materials for low-income communities about fire escape tools. Most of it was geared toward families who lived in trailer parks, old two-story homes, or apartments with no real escape plan. "These are the people who can't afford your ladder yet," she said. "But they're the ones who need it the most." She laid out a pamphlet mock-up. A photo of a kid standing in front of a smoky stairwell, bold red letters at the top. "What's your plan when the stairs are gone?" She waited for my opinion, not my approval. I flipped through the rest and made notes with a pencil. I circled copy that didn't land, flagged a diagram with the wrong type of window frame. She listened, didn't argue once. We kept meeting like that every couple weeks, always in public, always on neutral ground. It never turned personal, not really. Just work, strategy, problem solving. A few smiles, some late laughs, nothing that crossed a line. One night she sent me a video. No message, just the file. I opened it at my desk. It was grainy cell phone footage from a school safety drill in East Texas. A kid, maybe 7 or 8, was climbing down one of my ladders from a second-floor classroom window. The class lined up on the playground, cheering when he touched the ground. The teacher clapped and shouted, "Good job, Mason!" I must have watched it 3 times. 10 minutes later, her text came in, "You're saving real lives, not just closing deals." I stared at those words longer than I expected to. I didn't reply right away. Didn't want to throw a compliment back like a tennis ball. I just sat there in my workshop with the lights off, phone in hand, knowing damn well she wasn't trying to win me back, just telling the truth. And truth between us finally felt safe again. 6 months later, I stood outside a fire station in Lubbock, Texas, shaking hands with a woman who couldn't stop crying. Her house had caught fire in the middle of the night. Old wiring, second floor, back hallway. Her kid, Mason, was the one who remembered the drill, the one who unlatched the escape kit, snapped the ladder into the window, and led his sister down before anyone else woke up. He was maybe 9, buzz-cut, red sneakers, nervous grin. After the interviews and the pictures, he walked up to me and hugged me around the waist. "We got out because of you," he said. I just nodded and patted his back, my throat too tight to say anything real. Behind the crowd, near the tree line, I saw her, Cassie. She didn't wave, didn't call my name, just stood there with her hands in the pockets of a gray wool coat, watching like she didn't need anything from the moment, just wanted to be present for it. After the event wrapped, I found her near the parking lot. We walked in silence down to the pier behind the station, where the lake was calm and the sun was slipping down. We sat on a bench that faced the water. Wind picked up her hair a little. She didn't fix it. I'm moving to Nice full time, she said. Signed the contract last week. I nodded. Good city. I'm not doing this for you. I didn't think you were. She glanced at me. I just like who I am when I'm not climbing. I didn't say anything for a second. Just let that land. Then I looked over and said, I can be your friend. The rest, we'll see. She nodded. We sat there as the sky went orange and quiet. Not lovers, not enemies, not broken. Just two people finally seeing each other clearly.